For centuries, democracy has been upheld as the gold standard of governance. We're told it's the only path to freedom, justice, and prosperity. But what if this widely accepted truth is incomplete? What if, beyond the ballots and election cycles, there exists a system, or perhaps a philosophy, that could genuinely lead a nation to unparalleled stability, unprecedented innovation, and a future far brighter than anything conventional democracy offers? Prepare to have your deepest assumptions about government challenged and your mind open to possibilities you might never have considered. This isn't about replacing democracy with tyranny, it's about asking the hardest questions for a better tomorrow. Now, let's be clear, democracy has undeniable strengths, individual liberties, accountability, and the power to remove bad leaders. But let's also be honest about its persistent weaknesses that spark global frustration. We see constant political gridlock, short-sighted policies driven by election cycles, the rise of populism over genuine expertise, and the very real danger of the tyranny of the majority, silencing minority voices. Are these simply growing pains, or are they fundamental design flaws that hold nations back from reaching their full potential? Are we settling for good enough when exceptional might be within reach? Imagine a government where leaders aren't chosen based on charisma or campaign promises, but solely on their proven competence, their scientific understanding, and their demonstrated expertise in critical fields like economics, environmental science, or public health. This is the core idea behind a technocracy or a pure meritocracy. Decisions would be driven not by popular opinion or political maneuvering, but by data-backed evidence, rational analysis, and long-term strategic planning. Think of a nation run like a hyper-efficient, incredibly intelligent corporation, optimized for progress. No more uninformed votes, just optimal outcomes based on undeniable facts. Sounds revolutionary, doesn't it? But hold on a second. While the promise of expert rule is alluring, who truly defines competence or merit? And more importantly, how do you ensure these elite decision-makers remain accountable to the diverse needs, values, and even desires of every single citizen? History shows us that power, even in the hands of the seemingly wisest, can become isolating and oppressive. Without broad representation and checks and balances, a technocracy can quickly devolve into an unchallengeable, cold dictatorship of the know-it-alls, easily prioritizing efficiency over human dignity or individual freedoms. Their optimal outcomes might not be optimal for everyone. Let's journey back to ancient philosophy. Plato, among others, envisioned the philosopher king, a single, supremely wise, benevolent, and incorruptible ruler, utterly dedicated to the long-term good of the nation. In this system, one exceptional individual, free from the messy, short-term pressures of public opinion or political factions, could make decisive, far-sighted decisions. Imagine a leader with absolute power, but also absolute wisdom and virtue, capable of charting a course for centuries, ensuring stability, fostering innovation, and guiding their people with unwavering foresight. This promises ultimate order and vision. But here's the unavoidable, monumental flaw: where do you find such a perfect, incorruptible person? And even if you did, what happens when they inevitably die, or worse, their inherent goodness wanes under the immense weight of absolute power? History is a brutal teacher, littered with countless examples where absolute power, regardless of initial intentions, has led directly to absolute tyranny, widespread suffering, and the crushing of individual rights. The ideal of an enlightened ruler is seductive, but the reality is that even the wisest are still human, and as we know, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The risk is simply too great. Now, for the ultimate pendulum swing, what about a pure, unadulterated direct democracy? Imagine every single citizen actively participating, voting on every single law, every public policy, every day. No representatives, no intermediaries, just the raw, unfiltered will of the people making every decision. Everyone's voice is heard directly, everyone holds power. This promises ultimate transparency, ultimate engagement, and eliminates the feeling of being unheard or misrepresented by politicians. It's the ultimate embodiment of power to the people, with seemingly no room for backroom deals or elite agendas. While the sentiment is powerful, the practicalities are staggering. Envision a nation of millions, or even billions, attempting to collectively vote on complex economic reforms, intricate international treaties, or highly technical infrastructure projects on a daily basis. It quickly becomes unwieldy, inefficient, and highly susceptible to the tyranny of the majority, where popular, but potentially short-sighted or even harmful, whims could override long-term wisdom or minority rights. Information overload, emotional decision-making, and a complete lack of consistent strategy would likely lead to societal chaos rather than enlightened governance. Pure direct democracy, at scale, is often a recipe for paralysis. So, after exploring these challenging alternatives, what is better than democracy for a nation? Perhaps the answer isn't a single, perfect, utopian system waiting to be discovered. Instead, it might be a continuous, evolving journey towards improving governance. Maybe the future lies in a sophisticated blend, a strong democratic foundation ensuring rights and representation, enriched by elements of meritocratic efficiency, empowered by data-driven insights, tempered by constitutional safeguards, and guided by a long-term vision that transcends election cycles. The search for optimal governance is, and always will be, the ultimate human endeavor. What components do you think are essential for a truly exceptional nation? Share your thoughts, your critiques, and your boldest ideas in the comments below. And if this journey into political philosophy intrigued you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.